Greetings, everyone. In this video, I want to talk about the full moon coming on June 21st or June 22nd, depending on where you are around the globe. And what's powerful about this full moon is that it will come a day after the solstice. The summer solstice here in the Northern Hemisphere, the time of the most light, the longest day of the year, and the winter solstice in the Southern Hemisphere, the time of the shortest day and the longest night. And remember that it's at the times of the solstices and equinoxes, as Rory Duff has talked about in our interviews together. This is when the earth ley lines get activated and come into these powerful energies that can guide us, support us in the shifts that we're making in this time. So it's an important time to gather in community, to connect at nodal points of ley lines if you're able to do that, but to wherever you are, tune into the energies of the earth and sky and call on those energies to be supporting us in this transmutational process that we're in at this time. So it's beautiful that we'll have the solstice and then the full moon. And remember that the full moon is building on bringing to fruition the energies of the new moon at the beginning of the lunar cycle. And as I talked about in that new moon video, the new moon was at 16 degrees of Gemini, and it was in the sky in the stars of Taurus, in the horns of the bull. The Sabian symbol and meaning of that degree of the zodiac is about maturing from our more unevolved emotional expression and reactivity into maturity, into wisdom. And the placement of the sun and moon at the time of the new moon in the stars of Taurus, close to the royal star Aldebaran, is about how do we embody that? How do we remember that we are soul selves having a human experience, and that as we integrate that, we embody that in who we are here and live in alignment with our soul selves, live in alignment with cosmic consciousness, and act with integrity. Let's talk about how this is coming into full clarity and manifestation at the time of this full moon, following right after the solstice. Let me show you the chart. So at the time of this full moon, we have the sun at 1 degree of Cancer opposite the moon at 1 degree of Capricorn. And they're in this combination, the sun conjunct Venus and Mercury, the moon conjunct these Kuiper Belt objects, Ixion or Ixion, Pholus, and Quaoar. So there's a powerful opposition between these energies in Cancer and the energies in the sign of Capricorn. And what I'd like you to think about when we talk about the energy of Capricorn, the energy of this full moon and the manifestation that's coming out of this lunar cycle, remember that Capricorn, the constellation, is this hybrid, the goatfish. And the meaning of that constellation and that hybrid combination comes out of a Sumerian myth talking about the wise ones who come from source, who come out of the sea, morph in form to move on the land, to bring their wisdom to the people, and then return to source. So the deeper meaning of Capricorn is, how do we remember that we are soul selves, that we've come from source, we've come from cosmic consciousness to be here, to be embodied here, to manifest in human form, to be of service, to be in our own evolutionary process, and to support others in their evolutionary process. And it's powerful that if you look at these energies in opposition, they're actually part of a grand square with the lunar nodes, and the sun and moon are in an out of sign square with Neptune at the final degree of Pisces. Now, Pam Gregory and I just had a wonderful conversation about the meaning of Neptune in this final degree of Pisces, which it will be at 29 degrees of Pisces now until September 1st. So it's activating the profound meaning of this ending of the sign of Pisces. And one of the things that we talked about is how Pisces and Neptune are activating our mystical awareness. They're reminding us of our connection with cosmic consciousness and our connection with our soul selves. So this is a very mystical energy at the time of this full moon. And if you think about that deeper archetypal meaning of Capricorn, reminding us of our coming from the sea of cosmic consciousness into manifestation in form on the earth plane, then we remember that we are fractals of cosmic consciousness, here to be in our own evolutionary journey of consciousness, and also to express in form, Capricorn, the uniqueness of our gifts, our wisdom, what we have to share with others. And with the sun in Cancer, how do we do that in a compassionate way? How do we do that in a way that is nurturing and caring in our relationships with others? And as we talked about at the time of the new moon, the sun is conjunct Venus and Mercury, meaning that these planets are under the beams of the sun. They're merged with the light of the sun. Venus is still in her superior conjunction. From our Earth perspective, she is on the outside of the sun, communing with the stars and bringing that awareness back to us, supporting us in being in this deeper reflection, connection with the wisdom of the stars, to remember who we truly are as soul selves, having this human experience. And with Mercury merged with the sun, we're being supported to allow our ways of thinking, our ways of reflecting on life and processing things and communicating, to be in alignment with that light of the sun that, as Pam and I talked about, is so powerfully beaming to us now. These energies from the cosmos that are supporting us in our transmutational process. We are light beings being called more and more into that transmutational process to become homoluminous ones. So this full moon is helping us to remember that deeper essence of who we are. And with the square with Neptune, to be taking time in meditation, taking time to commune with the energies of the earth and sky, to be dissolving what we need to dissolve, to open more and more to higher consciousness and to guidance from cosmic consciousness, from the stars, from source. It's also significant that in this grand square, we have this combination with the moon in conjunction with Ixion, Pholus, and Quaoar. I've talked some about this before, and this combination is very powerful, and it's extraordinary because they're in these longer orbits, being in the Kuiper belt. These three have been in a dance with each other since the end of 2007, initially in Sagittarius. Then they've moved into Capricorn. they'll continue in this dance together within a 5-degree orb of each other until they begin to separate in 2046. And by 2042, they will have moved into Aquarius. So these energies are in this ongoing combination with each other. And I think what becomes significant is when they're in combination with the new moon or the full moon, or in aspect to the lunar nodes. And they're now squaring the lunar nodes. So remember that from that evolutionary astrology perspective, anything that's squaring the lunar nodes is calling us into working those issues at a deeper conscious level. It's part of our karmic unfolding, healing, transformation. What are these lessons that these energies are guiding us into for our own growth? And they're a powerful combination. As I've talked about before, I think this Kuiper Belt object, Ixion, and I purposefully pronounce it that way because of some of what I think its meaning is about. And we're still exploring and understanding the meaning of some of these newly discovered planetary bodies. But I think the meaning of Ixion is related to its legend, which, without going through all of the details of it again, is really about this character who's so caught up in his own ego, greed, and self-interest that he acts in reactive ways and murders his father-in-law when he's got a conflict with his father-in-law, doesn't feel remorse, doesn't take responsibility for his actions, doesn't learn from the experience and move into more consciousness. He continues on this path of ego and impulsivity and destruction. He ends up lusting after Hera, Zeus's wife, ends up being punished by Zeus and being on this wheel of fire for all eternity. So I think part of the meaning of Ixion is, where do we need to face the shadow aspects in ourselves, those ways that we can get caught in ego, can get caught in our own reactivity or impulsivity, can disconnect from our relationships with others and our awareness of our interconnectedness with each other and all of life. This is where, as Jude Currivan would say, we get caught in that illusion of separation and then act out of that in ways that are destructive. So it's profound that across these years, Ixion is conjunct Pholus. That centaur that Melanie Reinhardt talks about, the phrase for Pholus, the healing centaur, is the lid comes off. What is needing to come into awareness to be brought into the light of consciousness to heal? So how are we facing those shadow aspects of ourselves to heal, to bring that into awareness so that we can take responsibility for ourselves, see the consequences of our actions, and move in a direction of healing and higher consciousness? Then I believe it can help us merge with and move into the beautiful energy of Quawar, that creation deity that is the integration of the sacred masculine and sacred feminine. This is the creation deity of the Native American tribe thousands of years ago in the area of Southern California now. But Quawar was that creation deity who was androgynous and would call everything into creation and into being with the song of the cosmos, and then call the mountains, the rivers, the animals, the plants, the humans into that song of harmony, of creation, the song of the spheres. So I believe this profound combination that's guiding us across this almost 40-year period is saying, where do you need to face your shadow? to take the lid off of what's been hidden, of what's been kept under the surface, to heal, to come back into harmony, to come back into alignment with your soul song and the song of the spheres. So this powerful full moon is saying, allow yourself to merge with the light of the sun, to let that mold how you are in relationship, how you think, how you communicate, so that you can face what's in the shadow, heal, and come back into right harmony, right relationship with yourself and all that is. And then it helps us understand how this is part of this grand square with the lunar nodes, South Node in Libra coming into balance and harmony, North Node in Aries, to move into new forms. And let me tell you the Sabian symbols for this powerful time. The Sabian symbol for this full moon at 1 degree of Capricorn, coming from James Burgess's site and his interpretation of Dane Rudhyar's Sabian symbols, and I'll put that link below. His interpretation is that this is about how through challenging experiences, the evolution of the soul occurs. So if we think about that new moon, how do we see our youthful, immature reactivity and impulses and mature into more consciousness and wisdom? This full moon is saying you're going to have challenging experiences, but look at those challenges as a way that you're being called into your soul's evolutionary journey, into growth in love and wisdom. And with this powerful combination at the time of this full moon, how is that supporting you in seeing your shadow, seeing the old patterns from the past that maybe get you caught in that sense of separation, or caught in your ego, or mired in painful patterns from the past, such that you act out or react or operate in an impulsive way and don't see or think through the consequences to yourself or to others, or how it disconnects you from those around you or from the sacredness of the life around you. How do you heal and come back into harmony? It's interesting that the combination of the moon and these Kuiper Belt objects are applying to the South Node at 12 degrees of Libra, the meaning of which is about moving from unconsciousness into the light. And the Sun and Mercury and Venus are applying to the North Node at 12 degrees of Aries. How do we gain awareness of our soul's transcendence? And the Sabian symbol from the Chandra Sabian symbols from Elias Lonsdale's book, Inside Degrees, and I'll put that link below, is that this full moon is about how you find deep inside you the spark of what you've always known, which holds true under seemingly impossible conditions. So what does all this mean? I think it is telling us that these are challenging times. These are stormy times. We all feel that. We feel the tumult in the collective consciousness. We feel our own personal challenges, as I believe the energies that we're in are guiding us in an accelerated process of healing, of coming into the light of consciousness to support us in opening our hearts and expanding our consciousness. And this full moon is shedding light, emanating light onto what's in the shadow to support us in that process. And at a deep level, reminding us of that alignment, that spark of awareness of our soul selves within us that help us remember this is all a hologram that we're in. We are from the sea of cosmic consciousness. We will return to the sea of cosmic consciousness. Our soul selves are on a journey through infinity to grow, to transform. As Jude Currivan would say, our universe is in a meaningful and purposeful evolutionary process. We are being supported by the energies of the earth and sky to remember who we truly are, to remember, Capricorn, we come from Source to grow in love and wisdom on this earth plane and to share what we have to share in our gifts with others, to be in that evolutionary journey of transmutation. And then we return to Source. And this time in our journey, individually and collectively, is particularly profound because we are in this transition from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. And I do believe that Neptune, in that final degree of Pisces, is helping us integrate the lessons of the Piscean age and release the shadow aspects of our journey through the age of Pisces to be supporting us more fully in this transition into the Aquarian age. And remember also that we're at this critical point in the precessional cycle, the ending of one, the beginning of another. And this 12,000 year cycle, when we move through the photon belt, we experience these energies coming from the cosmos to transmute us, transform us. And we have a choice. Will we open to the light of consciousness, guiding us to transform physically, emotionally, spiritually, to make this evolutionary leap into Homo luminous ones? Or will we block ourselves from that, stay mired in these paradigms of the past, and particularly this 5,000-year period of the Kali Yuga, the time of forgetting, the time of disconnecting, the time of getting caught in the illusion of separation, the time of getting caught in the energies of Ixion. How do I be in control? How do I get what I want? How do I compete? It's all about me. I don't care how it's affecting other people. I just want to exploit them or exploit the earth or get what I need. That is the really intense shadow side of this patriarchal period of this past 5,000 years. It's wounded all of us and kept us all in an illusion of disconnection and separation. And it's kept us all in the illusion that we're only living in a material reality. And these energies that we're in from the stars, from the solar system, from the earth, from this full moon, are saying, remember who you are. Remember that spark of cosmic consciousness within you that has never left you, that is who you truly are. Come back into alignment with your soul self to let melt Neptune, that energy of disconnection, the illusion of separation. Let Neptune support you in dissolving your identification with your ego to be living from your soul self. Then the ego, in a healthy way, can be how we manifest that awareness of our being soul selves having a human experience, instead of the ego being in the driver's seat. So allow yourself at the time of this full moon to remember that essence of who you truly are. Allow yourself to open to these energies of Neptune that allow us to not only open to higher consciousness, but remember that Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. It supports us in opening to the love of cosmic consciousness, to the love of the cosmos that is supporting us in this time of transformation, that wants us to feel held in love and compassion and in that unconditional acceptance, to support us in seeing who we are, to support us in healing, to move into these new paradigms and new ways of being. This is a challenging time, as the energies of this full moon speak to. But when we remember that essence of who we are, then we know that the challenges and the tests and the difficulties that we experience are calling us into more growth, are guiding us to be in this cauldron of transformation, to move into the true gold of who we are, to be, in fact, these soul selves living in a human experience and consciously on a path of growth in love and wisdom. Let me now show you where this full moon is in the sky at the time of the full moon. So as you may remember, at the time of the new moon, the sun and moon were here with Venus and Mercury in between the horns of the bull of Taurus, close to El Nath and close to Aldebaran. Remember that Jupiter was here close to the Pleiades in the shoulder of the bull. Now the sun has moved and is in the upraised arm of Orion, and Venus and Mercury are still closely in conjunction. I've talked in previous videos about how powerful this part of the sky is, and I'll be putting out another video in another week or so that will go into this in even more depth. But remember that Orion is symbolic of our growth in consciousness, our moving through this cycle of life, death, rebirth, to be embodied here, to be on a journey towards higher consciousness. And when a planet, and particularly now the sun, is in that upraised arm of Orion, in ancient Egyptian mythology, this upraised arm of Orion meant, how do we, in our own journey of evolution, move from chaos into order, into enlightenment? Later, as we move into the age of Aries, it also became associated in ancient Egypt with, how do I conquer my enemies? How do I slay anything that gets in my path? Ixion energy. But the deeper meaning of this configuration is, how do I triumph in my facing the challenges and obstacles in life to move into growth, evolution, into higher consciousness? This is the journey of enlightenment. So the sun, again, is beaming that support for us to come back into balance, into harmony within ourselves, to bring in that light of consciousness, to move out of chaos, move out of being controlled by our ego or the shadow aspects of ourselves, into higher consciousness. The moon, at the time of the full moon will be here in the stars of Sagittarius. And remember, this is the archer with the bow and arrow. And remember that that arrow, where the moon is pointing to our view of the galactic center. Stay connected to source. Keep your gaze on source. Remember who you are. Remember where you've come from. And remember that this part of the sky is so powerful. We have Scorpius and the royal star Antares, intensity, moving through times of transition, transformation, held under the care of Ophiuchus, the great healer, who integrates the energies of the sacred masculine and sacred feminine to guide us into wholeness as we keep our gaze on source. And remember that we are always connected to cosmic consciousness. It lives within us and all around us. Then we can face these challenges and this time of transition, transformation, this time of chaos, and come back into inner balance and order and harmony. I truly feel, and more, the more deeply I immerse myself in the wisdom of the planets and the stars, what a gift to us, and how those energies reverberate in the earth. We can find that wisdom of the cosmos in the plants and animals around us, in the energies of the earth herself, and in the sky and the movements of the planets in the stars. That wisdom of the cosmos is in us and all around us, and is supporting us in knowing that we are held in love and in these energies that are supporting us through this time of transition and transmutation. We can trust in that. And we can, as we open to those energies, support each other in remembering who we are, why we're here, and how together we can hold these energies to support the shifting in the collective consciousness. I truly believe, as I work with these energies over the years, that it isn't about predicting what events are going to occur. It's about guiding us in our evolutionary journey of consciousness, helping us to remember that spark of truth and connection to cosmic consciousness that is always within us, to remember that essence of who we are, to know that this is a holographic reality, to support us in our journeys, and to be in this realm where we experience physical reality, we experience embodiment, we experience challenges, we experience a range of emotions, not to traumatize us, but to guide us through that cauldron of transmutation into deepening our consciousness and capacity for love and wisdom. But to do that, we do need to heal the traumas that we've experienced that come out of our disconnection from that remembrance of who we are, that come out of our getting caught in that Ixion energy that is about ego and disconnection and reactivity. So then trauma breeds trauma. We are being guided in this time to heal, to allow our hearts to grow lighter as we release the heaviness and the pain from the past, to then be able to expand and open our hearts, to be more loving with ourselves, to be more loving with others. We can't fully love until we've experienced being loved. We need to absorb that love of the cosmos, of the earth and stars, that love from each other, to remember how to love ourselves, to then emanate that out to others. As we experience that evolution in our consciousness, we activate that in the energies and the morphogenic field around us to be co-creating a new world, to be co-creating with the love and wisdom of the cosmos. And Neptune can support us in this powerful full moon, in opening to that compassion and love of the cosmos, to pull that into our hearts, to support us in coming back into balance, to be in our own transmutation process. And then we can be at peace. We can feel that energy of joy and love, even in the midst of the storm around us. We can be in that inner stillness. We can be in that song of Quawar, where we remember our soul song and bring those notes into harmony with the energies of the earth and stars and sky. The song of the spheres, which is a song of love. And as I close, let me just give you the meaning of the Sabian symbol of the North Node at the time of this full moon from Inside Degrees, the Chandra symbols. This is the meaning of the North Node that is part of that grand square. And remember, the North Node is what is the growing edge in this time? What is this light of the full moon and the sun illuminating for us to guide us in our movement forward? And the meaning of that degree at 12 Aries is about hearing the stars talking to us at night and remembering that we are the microcosm here and now for so many worlds. We are supported in hearing the wisdom of the stars coming to us at night, coming to us in the dream time through that energy of Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces, to feel the song of the stars supporting us in remembering that we are the microcosm of the macrocosm, that the world is around us, but the cosmos is also within us. And as we hear that song and sing in harmony with it, we affect all of the worlds. We affect the macrocosm. We are that spark of light, bringing that energy of illumination into these times of darkness and transmutation. We then become that being of love and light, emanating that to all around us. May you feel that love of the cosmos at the time of this full moon. May you draw that in from the energy of the full moon. May you open and honor the energies of the sun that are beaming these energies from the cosmos to us at this time. May we let that light illuminate what's in the shadows to support us in this healing and transmutation. And may we continue to hold that heart connection with each other to weave this web of healing and light and higher consciousness around the globe. Blessings and love to all of you. Blessed be.